Hi guys, welcome to Crazy Burger. So in the continued series of Evercade What If, this episode we're going to be looking at Sega. Now I'm actually surprised we've not seen Sega of some description on Evercade by now, and this realistically could be a Evercade when rather than a What If video. But anyway, without further ado, we're going to have a look at some of the games we could see if we get Sega on Evercade. Let's have a look. So there's no doubt that Sega is a huge name that we would absolutely love to see on Evercade. There's so many arcade games, console games that would make tons and tons of collections. And obviously I'm going to start here with Alien Storm. This is obviously the arcade version. And this was great fun. I remember playing lots of these arcade games in this video back in the day, in the sort of early 90s. And this one I always had a go at, even though I wasn't particularly good at it. But it always stood out with the sort of colourful graphics, the almost sort of Ghostbusters style main characters, and all the sort of varied aliens and stuff. It always brought you in. I'm not really sure this is an absolute classic, but for sure it catches the eye and it's quite good fun to play.
Good job.
So another game I remember playing quite a lot in the arcades was Cyber Police eSWAT, and even though it's a little bit dated in comparison to some of the other games in this video, I still enjoy playing it. It was a sort of run and gun style game and it was really enjoyable, no doubt about it. It was great to play a lot of these games for only 10 pence back in the day. It was great to actually go to the arcades, be there for a couple hours and only spend about £1. And sometimes if you play some of the fruit machines, the sort of pontoon games, you might even go out with the same money that you actually went with, which was bloody brilliant if you ask me. So Golden Axe has to be one of the classic all-time Sega arcade games. Obviously there was a lot of console versions that were pretty decent, like the Mega Drive version was actually really good as well, but this is the arcade version we're playing. Absolute classic. I remember it lots. I probably played this every single time I went to the arcade, and I probably didn't really get that far onto the second stage or something on your single 10 pence, but what a joy it was to play it. Absolutely loved it. And sometimes, yeah, my dad would probably come and play two-player games as well with it. Such a great game. It brought you in. You loved the sound effects, the music. Absolutely brilliant stuff. So there's no doubt about it that Sega seemed to have an endless array of arcade games. There are so many, it would probably fill about 5 or 6 carts. I'm not really sure which ones we'd ever get, if we ever do get them, that is. Obviously this is a what if. I'm really surprised we don't have a Sega collection of some sorts by now. But anyway, if it does happen, this would be a great addition. This is Hang On. Although I don't really remember playing this a lot back in the day. I don't think our arcade actually had this game. But I think it's a classic, there's no doubt about it. I personally preferred Outrun, which is coming next. I think that's probably a little bit more fun to play. But anyway, still an absolute classic and a must-have if we get this on Evercade. So without doubt, one of Sega's beloved arcade games, this is Outrun, an absolute classic of its time. We've had many variations of this over the years. Obviously we've had some console versions of it as well. I'm not really sure which one's the best. I think the arcade sort of version is fantastic. We've had a few really bad versions of this. I think, if I recall, the Amiga version wasn't particularly great. But anyway, this is Outrun. I think this would go down a storm if we got this on Evercade. So this one might not necessarily be on everyone's list or expected games on Evercade if we got a Sega collection. This is Shadow Dancer, which was something of a Shinobi style sequel, and it stuck out for me obviously because you had the sort of wolf following you and helping you throughout your quest to unarm some of the bombs on each of these stages. It was very tricky right enough, and it was one of those games where it's one hit, you're dead, you start all over again, so it has a little bit of frustration towards it, but still, classic game, really cool, and I always remember hearing the noises from this game in the arcade, and it always enticed me in to have a go. So for sure, if we got an Evercade Sega collection, Space Harrier would have to be included. Even now, I think this is actually quite a unique style game. There's not many games where you're a floating character flying down the screen, shooting at enemies coming towards you. No doubt an absolute classic, and I would love to see this on Evercade, along with many other arcade games. Obviously, I've not included loads that should have been in this video, such as Afterburner, for example, and many more. Obviously guys, please let me know in the comments of some of the games that you would love to see on Evercade collections, but don't stop now, there's going to be some games added, console games that would be crazy not to include on Evercade Sega collections. Now without doubt, you think Sega, you think Sonic the Hedgehog, so if we got Sega on Evercade, it would be unthinkable not to get a Sonic game, or even all the Sonic games you can think of on some sort of collection. Although obviously we have played this game so many times over the years, I still wouldn't say no to playing it on an Evercade system. I still love playing Sonic the Hedgehog. I think the original games are probably the best and never really better. The 3D versions were a bit iffy if you ask me. Sonic Mania recently was pretty good as well, but Sonic the Hedgehog, the original, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Sonic Knuckles, Sonic CD, the list goes on. Classic games. I love the fast gameplay. I love trying to find all the emeralds as well. Wow. Brings back a lot of memories. Certainly sold me on a Sega Mega Drive or Genesis. This is the game I bought the Mega Drive for. It's brilliant. And I would still love playing it now. Fantastic stuff. So without doubt, the next game I would think of if we got a Sega console collection, that would be the Streets of Rage series. 1, 2 and 3, I don't think they would put them all in the same collection. It would be split out much like they've done with the Metal Slug series on the sort of SNK collections. I'm not really sure which one is the best. I enjoyed playing the first one. The second one is probably the one that sort of pushes the machine, the Mega Drive, to its limits, and I absolutely love playing this. I've played this a lot, even as a two-player game. We've played this a lot in our family and absolutely loved playing it. It was great fun, and yeah, I would probably choose Final Fight over this, although I think the Streets of Rage series as a whole was better overall than the sort of Final Fight series, but still I think as a game I would choose Final Fight 1 all day long. But still, Streets of Rage, it was a close second to me. It's still a brilliant game, so many great enemies, so many great moves, characters, bosses, etc, etc. It goes on, an absolute classic that everyone really should play. If you love your beat 'em ups, you have to play this series. Brilliant stuff, easily some of the best beat 'em ups you'll ever play, even now. So guys, over to you. Which games would you love to see as part of Sega collections if we ever see them on Evercade systems? I get the feeling this won't be an if video, this really should be an Evercade when video. Fingers crossed. Bye for now.